The Legend of Iron Purl. The fuzzes. I love story time at Granny's. But her stories can't be true. And there's no such thing as yarn that's as strong as steel. No one could knit that fast. We can't wait to hear more. Nobody could spin a yarn like Granny Fuzz. The children of the village could listen to her for hours. One of the greatest rivalries of all time was between Iron Purl and Bandit Bob. He liked trouble, and she did not. It all began with the Batty Berry bust. The bats came unexpectedly that day. They gobbled up every berry in sight, making a huge mess. What brought them here? Was it another one of Bandit Bob's pranks? Uh-oh, look, there's Bandit Bob holding up a sign saying, "Free fruit here." The frightened villagers didn't know what to do. Those hungry bats didn't stop. Until they heard a strange sound. Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack. Do you hear that? I like that beat. Makes me want to tappy-tap my feet. And then, smack, thwack, bonk. Oof. Ow. They started seeing stars. Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack. Ooh, pretty. I feel spinny. Before they knew it, they'd been knitted into tight cocoons, so cozy that they were lulled into a deep, delicious nap. Can't move. So soft, so cozy. Zzz. The mysterious knitter didn't stick around, but she left a letter. My dear friends, why all the theft and mess? You need to start a garden. Detailed instructions enclosed. Yours truly, Iron Purl. This is for you, says the mailman mouse. A little help here, said one of the bats. What a grand idea! The bats loved it. They apologized and cleaned up their mess. Then they planted a wonderful fruit farm. There were enough berries for everyone. Iron Purl had ruined Bandit Bob's fun. Who was this strange newcomer? Batty Bat Farms. Welcome, welcome, fill up your baskets. From then on, whatever trouble Bandit Bob stirred up, Iron Purl always found a way to fix it. Even when he caused trouble by accident, like the flaming fairground fiasco. Wow, the carnival was in town, and everyone came to enjoy the fun. Pies, pies, fresh berry pies, says a bat, and a giraffe is playing the upright bass. Ding! Wow, you're really strong, says the fox. Step right up to the hot air balloon. And then Bandit Bob says, Sparklers, sparklers, who wants sparklers? Me, say the little bunnies. Unfortunately, a spark went astray. Suddenly, a fire broke out. Help! Cried the villagers. Help, help, help! And then, dunk, stretch, drip, 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 pachoo! Splat, splat, splat. Are those soggy yarn balls? Yay! Hooray! The flames were being extinguished. But how? By whom? The air was filled with the clicking sound of knitting needles in action. It could only mean one thing. Iron Purl had come to the rescue. The villagers jumped safely down into Iron Purl's knitted net as the fire brigade arrived. Everything was going to be okay. But wait, a cry for help. Someone was still in trouble. Without a moment to lose, Iron Purl swung into action, shooting her trusty ball of yarn into the air. Hang on, kid. Swish, swing, creak. But oh snap! Oh! The kid is falling. Was Iron Pearl too late? Ah, gotcha. Never. It was another daring save by Iron Pearl. My baby, thank you, says the rabbit mom. Always a pleasure. Mama! By the way, you are on fire. Ah, drat. Following the most important rule of fire safety, Iron Pearl immediately stopped, dropped, and rolled. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The fire was out. Everyone was safe. Iron Pearl was a hero, and Bandit Bob was jealous. How did Iron Pearl always show up in the nick of time? How did she have so much yarn? Did Bandit Bob ever outwit her? The children asked. Iron Pearl had a solution to just about any problem. It drove him bananas, said Granny. Hi, Grandpa Fuzz. Hello, dear. He liked to steal pies, so Iron Pearl protected them. Cool your pie in knitted lace and secure it with a pom-pom. He would snatch socks. Why am I always missing one sock? Asks the rabbit. And Iron Pearl had an idea for that too. Pair mismatched socks with matching pom-poms. He would scare people with puppets. Rah! Ah! And Iron Pearl made them not so scary. Transform anything with a sweater vest and put a pom-pom on it. That was the last straw. Bandit Bob challenged Iron Pearl to a duel. Much to Iron Pearl's surprise, Bandit Bob was also skilled in the yarn arts. She had met her match, and she welcomed the challenge. Yoo-hoo! Why, I oughta. You like pom-poms? I'll show you pom-poms. Your pom-poms are masterfully fluffy. There's more to you than just pranks. You talk too much. It doesn't have to be this way. We can work it out. Needles clashed. A lot of yarn was thrown. It was the longest, most intense knit-off or crochet-off in history. Iron Pearl was getting tired. She didn't know how much longer she could keep up the fight. The next thing Iron Pearl knew, Bandit Bob had her needles and was knitting her up in her own signature move, the cozy cocoon, enhanced with fancy cable work. But Iron Pearl wasn't going down without a fight. She noticed a loose end in his scarf. At the very least, she could unravel it. Nobody likes to be chilly. She pulled hard on that loose end, and her yarn-winding reflexes kicked in. Faster than she'd ever been before, she wound and wound and wound. Bandit Bob began to unravel. This wasn't just a scarf. It was a disguise. Bandit Bob was not who he appeared to be. Not at all. I am so embarrassed. I am so impressed by your skills. Undone and exposed, Bandit Bob confessed to everything. He was alone and lonely. He knitted to pass the time or crocheted. He made trouble to get attention, and his name wasn't Bob. Something stirred in Iron Pearl's heart. She understood, because being a hero with a secret identity was also very lonely. No one truly knew who she was. You and I are not so different after all. Bandit Bob and Iron Pearl joined forces. The village became safer and much cozier. Thanks for the knitted nests. There they go again, my heroes. But Bandit Bob had a mischievous streak that was hard to curb. Rawr! Ah! Oops. Flump. Sorry I scared you. Can I make it up to you with some pie? Where did that pie come from? Oh dear. And then what happened? The children asked. And then is a story for another day, said Granny Fuzz. It was time for the children to head to their homes for supper. Thanks for the sweater. My mom loves that the elbows never wear out. Granny telling tall tales again? Yep, I like your fuzzy jacket. On their way home, the children talked about Granny's marvelous stories. She had a way of making Iron Purl feel so real. So real that even Granny and Grandpa Fuzz were now inspired to go out for a swing. Ready? Let's go! But the legend couldn't possibly be true. Could it?